Hello and welcome to the Daily Scripture Podcast. My name is Jerome Lavelle and I hope you're having a lovely day today. Today we will be looking at Luke chapter 9 verses 46 through 50. An argument arose among the disciples about which of them was the greatest. Jesus realized the intention of their hearts and took a child and placed it by his side and said to them, "Whoever receives this child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. For the one who is least among all of you is the one who is the greatest." Then John said in reply, "Master, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we tried to prevent him because he does not follow in our company." Jesus said to him, "Do not prevent him, for whoever is not against you is for you." Today in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 9, verses 46 through 50, we hear Jesus instructing and laying down two memorable teachings. In these chapters in Luke's Gospel, Jesus and the disciples were conversing, and Jesus was teaching and instructing. Today's verses indicating that a dispute, or as the scripture says, an argument, arose among the disciples. I can almost see the disciples sitting around, perhaps with a light air of poking at each other, or maybe with a more serious comportment, but nonetheless comparing their achievements, or their dedication to the cause, or, as the scripture says, their greatness. And into this scene comes Jesus, bringing with him a simple, pure, innocent child. Their argument goes quiet, and all eyes go to Jesus and this child in their midst. What is Jesus doing? He turns, looking at them, and in answer to their question of who is the greatest, he says, "The one who is least among all of you is the one who is the greatest." Slam dunk, argument over. Notice what Jesus does here. He shifts the parameters of that conversation they were having, no doubt, about who's the greatest. He shifts those parameters, their focus of what they were using to determine who is the greatest. He challenges them, saying the way to judge who is the greatest in your competition is to decide who has made themselves the least. Remember, the last will be first. The least will be the greatest, says Jesus. One of Jesus' memorable teachings for us to contemplate and incorporate in our lives today. After this interaction, Luke tells us that John inquires about an issue of someone who was doing good works, but who was not among the disciple group proper. These good works were being done in Jesus' name. John was relaying to Jesus that some among the brothers were trying to stop this person from doing so further. John's telling of this to Jesus was almost as if he were asking Jesus, did we do the right thing in stopping this person? Should we be actively preventing this thing from occurring? And sensing this, Jesus comes right out and states, "Do not prevent him, for whoever is not against you is for you." Here, I believe he is saying, so long as they aren't working against us, this is a good thing. We know from the scriptures that in this world, the demand for work is great and the laborers are few. I hear Jesus saying, don't quibble with brothers and sisters doing God's work. If they are on Team Jesus, doing God's work, putting their shoulder to the plow, they are not the enemy, not to be shut down or rebuked. In today's scripture verses from Luke, Jesus gives his disciples, and he gives us as well, two memorable teachings. The least is the greatest, and if one is not against us, they are for us. Thanks be to God for these two memorable lessons for us to contemplate today. Thank you for joining the Daily Scripture Podcast. My name is Jerome Lavelle, and remember, our word of the day is least is greatest, not against us, for us. Until next time, be well and be blessed.